So recently I posted a poll on my YouTube channel asking viewers what they wanted to see in my next video. To my terrible surprise, more than 65% wanted to see the topic of masking. I hate masking. It is boring. There's nothing less artistic than masking. But since you've asked for it, I'm going to do the demonstration anyway. But I'm only going to go briefly through the masking features of my panel, only highlighting the most important topics. On top of that, I'm also going to show you a few other features that are in my panel that are very rarely used and that I think are important. But before we get started with masking, you can only create a good mask if you have a photo with enough or good uniform contrast. If there's no contrast at all, or it's not uniform and it's all over the place, then you cannot create a good mask in the photo of a subject. So keep that in mind. So let's get started now. First example. This is an example that I've been demonstrating in the past many times. So I'm going to do it again. So what I want is to have a mask of the tree. So what you can do then is to go to your panel. I'm going to do the Artisan Shibui panel. I'm going to click Auto Subject Detect and then go to one of the features. And since there's a sky behind the tree, I'm going to go with Sky Behind Subject. And it's an auto detect. So I'm going to do that. And like I said in previous videos, usually you can skip high key or low key because they're on the extreme ends of the spectrum. So high key is something that you only use when it's a very bright photo, and the same for low key, but then the other way around, of course. And if the contrast is really, really low and on the darker side. So I'm going to go with either mid-high or low-mid. So that this looks more low-mid. So I'm going to go with low-mid, and I want to have partial blending because the thing is that the transition from the tree to the ground should be more subtle and not with a hard edge. So I'm going to go with partial blending, and I'm going to go with low-mid. So it has created 3 channels as usual, and all you need to do is to find yourself the best channel. And let me zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to look at this part. I think I'm going to go with this one, the one in the middle. Alright, so like I said also in the previous videos, if you want to refine the mask, then you need to, if you have already created sky mask, then you need to invert it and to make sure that the object is selected. But that is already the case with this photo. Now I've selected the tree, it's already selected, it's white, so I don't need to invert it. So what I'm going to do is to go to Refine, Advanced Refine, and I'm going to go again with low-mid, because I've used low-mid, because you always have to try the same zone that you used to create the mask. And if that is not good enough, you can also go with the adjacent zones. And usually that would be, in this case, the low key. But I don't think I need that. I think I can do it all with the low-mid. So I'm going to create low-mid. So now it's going to create all the temporary channels that you can just ignore because they're there for the software, not for you. So I'm going to stand on my channel, and then I want to increase the white first, because the thing is that here there's some details here in the tree, those branches that are not visible here. So I just want to add that, and then I want to add a little bit more black. So again, I'm going to use this lesser tool selection to indicate what I want to improve. And then of course I'm going to feather it something around 50. This is good. Now save it. Call it T1. doesn't really matter. And now I'm going to go with the white first. Let me start with white 3. Maybe that's too strong, I'm not sure, but let's try it. Well, it's actually good. I can show it to you because here you see that this was missing, and before, afters. So now it has been added, and let me see here, the same here, before, after. So that's all good. I want to do the same now. I want to make it a little bit dark, so I'm going to load the same selection again. Now I'm saying go with black. Let's try 3. If that's too strong, can always go back and then do it with 2. Okay, this looks to be really good. Let me show you before. Pay attention here to this white area. After. I think it's more refined now. Before. After. I think I want to make it even more black, so I'm going to load it again. Let me try 4. That may be too strong, but let's try it. Actually, not too bad. I'm also paying attention here that this doesn't disappear, but this looks pretty good. Yeah, I think now this section here, where there's this dense accumulation of 3 branches, that it looks much better now. And all the other details, just look here, they look great. So that's basically it of the tree, and this has this subtle transition from the tree trunk to the ground. So that also looks good. So that's the first demonstration. And by the way, before you use it, I would always do the optimization. It's not available here in the Artisan Shibui panel, but it's available in Artisan Pro. There it is. Artisan Max as well. Let me see. Must be somewhere in here. I think under Mask. There it is. Also in Quick Mask. Let me see. Yeah, Optimize Mask. So it's not available in Artisan Shibui, but I'm going to add it in 2026. It's going to be a free update. The next masking demo. And again, a photo that I've been using before in the past. And I'm going to use Artisan Shibui again. So what I want here is to have a mask of the sky and of the foreground with the mountains. So it doesn't really matter what you do. I start with the sky and then invert it, then have the hilly foreground. So I'm going to go to mask. I'm going to go with sky mask. Click default. And then just wait. All right. And if I look here, you see that this part here should be softer. Should have this transition from the low-hanging clouds to that mountain. And it doesn't have that. It should be more subtle. There's the subtle transition there, but not long enough. It should be a little bit lower. Let me show you, because here it should be around here for the lowest point and around there. And you see that it's missing that. So I want to fix that. And let me see, this looks pretty good here with that cloud in front of it. Should be a little bit softer. This should be harder. That's also the case. This should be softer because that's the hazy background. Should be something like this. So maybe I can improve it a little bit, but not too much. This looks pretty good here. Maybe a little bit softer as well. And we check here. Then this part here, a little bit undefined, and that also needs to have a little bit more white in there. So I'm going to try to fix that. And Since I want to fix this part, I'm going to invert it first. So duplicate channel, invert, because you can only refine a mask if you have the object, in this case the foreground, selected. So now I can refine that mask. Okay, so I'm going to use low mid because this looks a little bit low mid. I'm going to use that. So I'm going to create the low mid temporary channels. All right, you can safely ignore this. Ignore all those temporary channels as well. Just go straight here, stand on there, and then indicate what you want to refine. Well, this is the part that I want to refine. Somewhere over here, let me check that. I'm gonna modify it. That's good, 55. Anything between 50 and 75 should be good. It's meant to make the transition from the part that has been selected and improved with the advanced refine to the other part that's not selected and not improved, that transition goes smoothly and subtly without a hard edge. Select Save Selection, call it T2, whatever you want to call it. What I want to do is to make it black first and then add some white. So let me try number 3. That's not good enough. Don't see much of a change. So let me go with 4. That's better, but not good enough. I don't like that, so I'm gonna delete the low mid. I'm gonna try the low key, see what will happen then. Load that, then go with black, a little bit more. That's better. Now I'm gonna make it white. No, this doesn't work out well. I need to go with the low mid again. Darkening it works well with the low key, but now I'm gonna switch over to low mid. That's still a little bit better. Gonna make it white. Yeah, that's much better. Load it again. All right, you see that is exactly what I wanted. And this should be soft and gray to represent what's happening here with the transition from sky to mountain. So what I did was try low mid first. That didn't work out to darken it. Well, it worked a little bit, but not strong enough. So I switched temporarily to low key and then made it dark, and that worked out well. And then I went back to low mid to make it white again because that didn't work out well with low key. So you can also use 2 different zones at the same time. That looks good. Now I want to do that a little bit better. Okay, I think I like that. Yeah, that's a much better representation of what's happening here with the soft, hazy background. And I also see that this part here, what's more in the foreground, is darker, and you can see there's a sort of a hard edge there. So I think it's a perfect mask. I need to make this white, so but that's something that I'm not going to use a panel for. I'm just going to go over it like so. All right, now this part, I'm going to select it. Now save that. Call it T4. Okay, first I want to make it darker. Let me try 4. Maybe too dark, but that's okay. Load this selection again. And now I'm going to go with white. Do it again, but now with 4. Even more. This is good. Let me see. Looking here, this should be more soft. The same here. That's what I'm seeing here. Now the other part there, this should be more visible. So I'm gonna select this again. I'm gonna save it. T6. The black first. Even more black. Load it again. Okay, I think that's much better. Well, maybe one more time, one more pass. Okay, now I think I'm good. Now I'm going to delete this original sky mask that I've inverted. This is my working mask. I'm going to duplicate it, invert it, call it sky. Let's see how it looks like. So this is what I have now. You see that this is really good. This is also good. I also like this part here. That's not a hard edge, but softer one. And now it's better visible. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. So that was the second demonstration. So the final masking demo, and this time an architectural photograph, and I'm going to select the sky and then try to refine it, and I'm going to focus especially on details like this and also details like that. And what's also important, those parts of the windows that you see there, they should still show the sky. So that part cannot be completely white or black, but should be somewhere a dark mid-gray. So what you do then, well, you can go with several options, but in this case, just go with sky mask, select sky, invert it, then you have the buildings, and then you can also do a subject select if you want to, but let me start with sky first. Okay, this already looks pretty good. Okay, you see the windows there are not pure black or pure white, but are darker mid-gray to represent the transparent character of the windows. This needs to be fixed. I want to bring back that detail. There maybe. This can also be fixed. So for this part, I'm not going to use the advanced refine because for that you can do it in a different kind of way. That's by doing the following. Invert it. So now you have also the mask of the building. What you do then is select this. So load that mask. Stand here. And then the trick that I've demonstrated in previous videos. And set it to normal first. And set it to black. And then just go fix that. And since I've loaded the mask of this, it will stay within the selection. So you have to go over it a few times, but preferably not more than 2 times. Okay, so that's fixed. You can do the same for this building there. I need to be, okay, need to stand here of course. That looks pretty good, but there's a white spot in there. I'm gonna fix that. I'm just gonna zoom in and then just quickly. That's it. You can still see some white there. That's to reflect the window there. So I'm going to leave it as it is. So this looks pretty good. I can get rid of this now. Now I want to refine the details in the building. So I'm going to duplicate channel, invert it. Because if you want to refine the building, you have to invert it because it needs to be selected. Now it's white, means it's selected. Now I can do the refinements. So suppose that I want to refine that part there. I want to have more details. And again, if you look at the photo, if you go to advanced refine, then it should be more low mid. I know that from all my photos. Usually would take a photograph that's a little bit underexposed. I never have the perfect histogram, it's always a little bit underexposed. And that's also why I know that usually I'm in the low mid or the low key kind of zone, never in the high key. So low mid, stand here, so I'm going to select it, save it, call it T2, and now I'm going to go with white, 3, that looks pretty good. But I'm missing the cables there, they're hardly visible, but I want to see them. So I'm going to load it again, maybe too much, but oh no, that's good. So now, after 2 clicks, one with 3 and one with 4, I even succeeded in selecting those hardly visible cables. See that? There's almost no contrast there, but I've selected them. And the rest, that is quite good. Alright, so I can also try to do this here. Do I need to? No. Just for the sake of it. I'm not going to save it because I only need to do it once, I think. I'm going to go with white. There it is. So the flag posts have been restored. So before, after. That's quite easy. Now this part there. But keep in mind, this part, the bill is more in the low key, low mid zone, while this is more in the mid high, even high key zone. So I cannot use low mid for this part. So I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna go with mid high now. Create mid high. That's what I think. Okay, so I'm gonna go there. Now say that I want to increase the detail there because it's a little bit more intricate, and I don't see that here. So I'm just gonna select this part. So I'm gonna go with black first. Okay, load it again. Now go with white. Load it again. Let me go with black 4. That may be too much. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. So I'm going to go with 3 again. And let me see. Now that looks much better now. So I went from here, very fuzzy, can't hardly see it. And now I have this. But I want to make it even better. So I'm going to go with white again. Yeah. Load it again. Now with black. Yeah, this is better. Okay, let's try black again. Now I'm gonna go with white again. I think I like this more. Maybe I should try high key because this is really light. See if that will make it even better. I'm not sure about that, but we can try. It's already good, but let me try it anyway. So let's go with black. Let me go with white now. Well, not much of a change. You can see it better, but it's already hardly visible. It's a little bit hazy there. So that's good. Let me try to bring back some of the windows there because it's a little bit closed off there. So for that, I'm going to go with low mid again. So create low mid. You see, yeah, that should be more low mid. Okay, I'm going to go here. Save. T6. That's way too much. So a little bit, still too much with 1. That's better. But now I need to load it again. Now make it a little bit white. I think that's better, but I think the problem here is that this borders more against mid-high, so maybe that can be better. So let me try that. Create mid-high. All right. Load that again. Stand here. Make it white. Yeah, that's better. You see that it really depends on selecting the right zone. In this case, was a little bit on the edge of low mid and mid high. And let me do it again. Now with black. Yeah, you see that this is more subtle than the one with low mid. So I think I'm going to go with that. I can do more, but just wanted to show you how to refine the mask of a building like this in an easy way. The final demo, not about masking, but I'm going to show you something that most people don't use because they prefer to use luminosity mask. The use of luminosity mask is widespread. You can find it in several panels. But now I'm going to use something different that looks very much like luminosity mask, but gives you even more control and isolation. And those things are the microzones. You can find it in Artisan Pro, Artisan Max, but not in Artisan Shibui. Because here you see in Artisan Pro, under Tools, you have this zone, the microzones, and with that you can create the zones. But I'm going to show you a trick in Artisan Shibui. Even though you don't have the zones, you can still create the zones and use them in the same way as the microzones in Artisan Shibui, and Artisan Pro, sorry. So let me use Artisan Pro first. So suppose this. Okay, this is the photo of the Duomo in Milan, and I'm still working on the photo. It's not finished yet, but at some point I've darkened the cathedral, and if you look at the original shot here, you see that if you look at the cladding, you see that there are lots of stones that are contrasting. So it's not pure lighter stones, there are also darker stones, sometimes really, really dark. And if you try to process the image and you want to make the building more contrasty in specific details, and you will use the luminosity mask for that, then what happens is that the contrasting stones, the contrasting bricks, will be even more amplified. So the lighter stones will get even lighter, and the darker stones will get even darker. So you will amplify the contrast, and that happens in such a way that it will take away from the aesthetics of the building. So I'm not trying to ignore the contrasting stones. They should be there, but I don't want to amplify it in such a way that it becomes distracting either. So it needs to be controlled. So how can you do that? Well, not with luminosity mask, because that doesn't work. So I'll show you why. What I want is to go from here with the darker stones that you see there. I want to make it lighter, like so. So you see that I've reduced the contrast in this layer by removing the darkest stones. If you try to do that with luminosity mask, let me show you. And now let me create the zones for this. And I already know that I need to be in zone 3 to select those darker stones. And you can also do this, and then you can see where the zone 3 areas are. You see that darker stones are selected, so they're zone 3. But basically, if you click here, you can also see it. You see those stones there. The blue stones are roughly in zone 3. Okay, well, I already know which zone it is. So let me create the zones for 3. So here I have zone 3 plus 2/3 plus 1/3 and the straightforward zone 3. So what happens when you create a zone, a microzone mask, it will always give you 3 different masks from the same zone. So in this case, if you focus on those darker stones and go here, then I think zone 3 plus 2/3 will isolate them, so I can control those darker stones. But this gives me even more isolation, because this one is also lighter here for the lighter stones, and I don't want that. I want to have a little bit more isolation for the darkest stones only. If I go with this one, then you see that it's not even selected anymore. So I'm going to go with 3 plus 1/3, and notice this part with the windows here, it's also black, meaning the windows are not selected. And if you look here, see that the window is black, should be selected. And normally, if you use luminosity mask, then that will be selected as well. But not here with the zone mask. So it gives you more isolation, because it will ignore all other zones like zone 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, etc. And will only select zone 3. You see that here. If I use a dark luminosity mask, that will also isolate this part. Let's say darks 275, but then it will also select the darker zones like zone 1 here with the windows. So it's a different kind of mask. So luminosity mask will select that specific zone, but also the darker zones. And if you use light luminosity mask, it will also select the lighter zones, because they are linear, while the zone mask will only focus and target a specific zone and will eliminate all other zones. So I'm going to use zone 3 plus 1/3. I actually need to have a selection of this part, but I don't have that because it's not doable to create a hard mask of this part, that part, of all the intricate details and facades of this building. It is possible, but it would take me a year, maybe longer. It would drive me nuts. So I'm not going to do that. And there's a better way of dealing with that, and that's the following. I've already created a mask of the entire building. So what I'm going to do is say, and then I'm going to load the sky and say, subtract that. Right, so now I have this selection. I'm going to save that. And now I'm going to load zone 3 plus 1/3. Load it, intersect it. I'm going to go to adjustments, pro adjustments. And I'm going to lighten it. So it will only lighten the zone 3 parts. I'm going to do that. So now I'm going to load the T5 and do the restore from right to left and left to right. So I don't need to select the entire part of the building. Just going to go with the restore from right to left and from left to right and a little bit from the bottom up. So now I've done that. I've lightened that. So this is before, after. So I've basically lightened the darkest stones, so it would look less contrasty. Because again, I want to do justice to the contrasting bricks in the building without amplifying the contrast too much that it looks too contrasty as a building as a whole. You can see that I've lightened all the zone 3 parts in the building, and it looks less contrasty. Let me go to Artisan Shibui, because here it doesn't have the micro zones, but the thing is that it has the microzone adjustments. So that's basically meant to do the same, but then you have to select it and then it will do the adjustment all in one. And suppose that you only want to have the zones, then you go here, go to zone 3, just create the zone 3 temporary mask that the microzone adjustments need to do the adjustment. We activate it, and now it has activated and created those layers. And you will see that they're the same as the microzones. You see that? That is created with the microzones under Artisan Pro over here under luminosity mask. Okay, that is zone 3 plus 1/3 is the same as XL3. And this one is the same as this one, and this one is the same as that one. So you can, if you want to have the microzones that are not an Artisan Shibui, just go to microzone adjustments in Artisan Shibui and then click the same zone, in this case zone 3.